Okay, so we're back out of here. So there you saw me in it. Now I'm out again. What we call this thing affectionately is the rig, and the rig that August and I built is actually adapted from original parts that were used in the very beginning of Second Life. The rig was actually an early experiment in a slightly different form that we built in the very first year or so of Second Life as a company. And this foot pad is actually one of the original components that we used at that time. So in addition to the head moving around in the environment that we just showed you, we also experimented with basically sitting on a chair and putting our feet and locking them in to this apparatus, and there's one for each foot. What that enabled us to do was sit with our head immobilized in the way you just saw, but with our feet and actually one of our arms also fixed in the same way. And by doing that, we were able to actually walk around as avatars in a very primitive virtual world way back in 1999. And as August described, the technique is really much the same. There are strain gauges here that are glued onto the pieces of metal. And when you move your foot, twist it, turn it, every direction you can move it, the strain gauges detect those forces, send them to the computer, and then we animate the avatar, the legs and the arms of the avatar. One of the things we can't show you that we haven't hooked up again yet is that the experience of kind of moving your hands and your legs without actually moving them is unusual in a particularly interesting way, which is that if I put something like a bowling ball in your virtual hands while you're holding them up, the bowling ball is going to push your avatar's hands down unless you push up with your real muscles kind of against the equipment that's immobilizing you with exactly the same force to match the weight of the ball. So what this means is if you made something like a sword fighting game or you did jujitsu with somebody in the virtual world, your actual strength would work in exactly the same way that it does in the real world. If you're not strong enough to hold that bowling ball, you're not going to be able to hold it. Similarly, you can't push your hand through a wall. So all of these illusions, if you will, are enabled by the fact that your actual arm, your actual legs are not moving at all. And so you don't have that weird experience that we've all had in VR of putting your hand right through a table and having it just go right through the table. In this type of a simulator, you have a complete sense of both solid surfaces as well as momentum. So as I said, like swinging a heavy sword with both hands will feel in this simulator exactly like it would if you were holding a real sword.